Hey guys, my name is Spencer Kaufman. Thank you for watching the Deception Tips videos. They're all about teaching you how to read people and detect deception so that you will be able to tell if someone is lying to you. Today we are talking about an overall body language sign that you can see and realize whether or not someone is telling the truth, whether they're being deceptive or truthful, and situations like that. Now, this one, like I said, it's the whole body. So it has to do with symmetrical expressions and asymmetrical expressions and how the different gestures and body language signs are displayed on our bodies and on our speaking and in our habits and the way that we move and talk when we are speaking. So this one is about gestures being asymmetrical, and when they're asymmetrical, they're generally false because most of the time when people are truthful, their brains are communicating simultaneously. Their brains, as if they have two brains, really it's each hemisphere of the brain, and then they are communicating with each other so that these gestures are happening simultaneously on both sides of the body. So here it is. This is deception tip number 57. Asymmetrical facial expressions are associated with deception and are usually indicative of non-spontaneous or voluntary emotional expression. All right, so this one is a little bit confusing in that it had a lot of big words. Asymmetrical facial expressions. All right, so what does that mean? It means when a certain expression happens more on one side of the face than on the other. So if you remember contempt, which was deception tip number 19, that is the only asymmetrical facial expression. And you'll see it on one side of the face more than the other. The reason is because contempt, it's one of those things that it just doesn't need to be, it's not on both sides of the face. And so when you see it, it's only one-sided, but it is truthful. All of the other expressions or gestures, if you watch my hand gestures throughout this video, they are happening together. They're simultaneous and congruent, they're symmetrical, they're happening on both sides of the body, and they are happening with each other, with my speech, in simultaneous synchronization with everything. They are truthful. Why are they truthful? Well, in the brain we have two hemispheres. One is the right, one is the left. So each side of the brain is contralaterally related to the opposite side of the body, or that side of the body. So the right brain controls the left brain controls the right side, just like that. When they are communicating together and effectively, truthfully, then it is spontaneous. Emotional, facial expressions are happening in that instant. The gestures are happening spontaneously. They're not planned. They're not faked. They're not happening without, the spontaneous expression. They're just instant. It's just like that. When you saw me move, I didn't plan that. It wasn't like I rehearsed that. It wasn't something that I had to practice. It just happened. It was natural. So therefore, the brain is communicating as one. Each side of the brain is sending out signals to each side of the body in fluid motion so that these expressions on my face and these gestures on my body can all happen simultaneously and symmetrically. If you remember, there's one side of the brain that is more active in deception. And we talked about this in deception tip number 23, where we said that the right brain is more active in false emotion or fake emotions, deception. So when you see that, we talked about smiles there. If you don't remember any of that, I encourage you to check out that tip. Just rewatch the video or listen to the podcast or whatever the case may be, because one side of the brain is more prevalent in deception, which means that you will see that asymmetricality more displayed on one side of the face than the other. It will more typically be on the left side of the face, because if it's the right brain that is more in deception, then it would be on the left side of the face that you would see this asymmetricality happening when someone is either speaking or gesturing, whether it's a facial expression of emotion or whether it is something on their body language or gestures. So we have a number of tips that we've talked about with symmetricality, with the hemispheres of the brain and which side is predominant, with simultaneous gestures, with speech, with facial expressions and body language all being congruent or symmetrical or asymmetrical or any of this. So encourage you to check out like the playlist of all those videos. I've combined them all for you. You can kind of just watch them all, get an idea of it. Also, if you don't remember anything about it all, here's a little recap. Basically, if expressions on the face or gestures on the body are simultaneous and congruent and symmetrical, then they are true. They're real. If they are asymmetrical or they don't match up with speech, they're incongruent or something like that, they're not simultaneous, then they are generally false. They're fake. Keep that in mind. Use that as your general rule of thumb and pay attention to other signs and behaviors as well. If this is your first time watching these videos, I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Feel free to comment with any questions you may have as well. Also, if you'd like some more information, we have books, blog posts, and podcasts all available on SpencerKaufman.com that are dedicated to teaching you exactly what everybody is really saying. Until next time.